Hello to everybody, this is Anar speaking. Today I will show you how to set up a dynamic proof cluster on a resource management system using PoD. PoD has plugins for LSF, PBS, Grid Engine, Condor and Gelite. In this screencast I want to use the LSF plugin. I therefore have just connected to LX Plus at CERN, as you can see, and I will use the LSF farm there. In this demonstration I will use PoD 3.4, which is already pre-installed here on this machine. Okay, now the very first step, we need to initialize PoD's environment. To do so, you have to just source PoD env sh script. PoD will create a default configuration file if needed. The file is located in your home.pod and called PoD cfg here. Normally users don't need to change anything in PoD's configuration and it works out of the box, but at CERN, unfortunately, we have a very special case. CERN has AFS. As you can see, my home is located on AFS. AFS does not support pipes, but PoD uses pipes in some algorithms. We therefore need to change the default working directory of PoD so that pipes will be created on a compatible file system. So let me just do it. This is PoD configuration, and we need to change in server section only this value. By default, working directory is your home.pod, and I want to change it, for example, to tmp. Oops, sorry. That's it. And again, I have to repeat, this is only for sites where AFS is used. Okay, so environment is ready. The next step, we need to start PoD server. In order to start the server, we must use PoD server command. PoD server. PoD server command can be used to start, restart, stop and request status of the server. So to start the server, we just say PoD server start. You see, everything very fast and smooth. So every PoD command is optimized. We can also ask maybe for status. The server is ready and running. By the way, the machine where PoD server is running will be also acting as our proof master. Now we need to submit PoD jobs, which then will turn to our proof workers. PoD uses the most efficient way to submit jobs in all plugins. This is why it is very much recommended to use a special PoD submit command. PoD submit command can be used to submit jobs to LSF, PBS, Grid Engine and Condor. Okay, now let us request, for example, 40 proof workers. So I say that I want to use LSF and I want to use a 1 hour queue at CERN and I need 40 proof workers. So I submit 40 PoD workers and they will turn to 40 proof workers. The job is submitted. To check the status of PoD jobs, we can use commands of resource management systems, be it jobs in case of LSF. So my jobs are still pending. To check the amount of proof workers which are already up, we can use PoD command PoD info. So PoD info. By the way, PoD info command can be used to request different kinds of information from PoD. And to request proof workers, we just say PoD info -n. We still have 0. And we can check again big jobs. My jobs are already running. Okay, let's check. And I probably scheduled by LSF. Oh, my workers started to appear. You see, it's very fast, and we can already start doing our analysis. Okay, I also can show you PoD info -l, which will list the workers, their names and ports. Now, when we have enough proof workers, we can just start a root session and process our proof analysis as it would be a regular static pre-installed proof cluster. By the way, to connect to our dynamic proof cluster, we need to use PoD info -c. This command will return a proof connection string to our dynamic cluster. So PoD info -c. This is the connection string to our dynamic cluster. So let me just start a root session and connect to my dynamic cluster. You see, everything is fine and smooth. We have already 40 workers, by the way. Just to prove that I'm not lying, let's see what proof thinks about our cluster. And everything is fine. It's a regular cluster for proof. So you can just start your proof analysis as normal. Okay, it could happen that your analysis crashed, so you just quit the root session and start another one. PoD will reconnect to your workers. You don't need to submit PoD jobs again, and you just connect to your cluster again. Everything smooth and fast. PoD can detect a bad worker and will automatically remove this worker from the list. If you need more workers, then you can just submit more PoD jobs at any time. PoD will automatically add them to your dynamic cluster. So let us just maybe extend our cluster and request some more, for example 60 workers, so that we will get 100 altogether. So we use PoD submit again. We say LSF, we need a 1 hour queue, and we need 60 workers. The job is submitted. I can use again B jobs to check the status of PoD jobs. They're pending. And I can use PoD info minus n to check the amount of available proof workers, my dynamic proof workers. So let's just wait a little bit. Jobs needs to be scheduled, and they're already scheduled, so very fast. Let us check again. Yeah, our new workers start to appear. Okay, I can just start again root session and connect to my extended cluster. So I have already 62 workers. And if we wait a little bit longer, then we get all our workers. So 93 already. Okay, again. And I can connect to my proof cluster. So some workers looks busy, yeah. Okay. Probably the interactive machine is busy and not responding very fast. Yeah, you have to be very careful when you choose the master machine. With PoD you can choose any machine to be your master, so it's very easy. Okay, and again we can ask proof, what proof thinks about our cluster. Well, yeah, everything is fine. So you can just process your proof analysis as it would be a static, regular, pre-installed cluster. Okay, to shut down your PoD cluster, you need to stop PoD server. So PoD server command, stop. PoD can detect whether you process a proof analysis or your cluster is just idling. If you let the cluster run and do nothing, PoD will automatically shut down your private cluster after a defined amount of time of idling. I believe this is 30 minutes, but it's configurable, of course. And our jobs will automatically go out, because when you shut down the server, PoD server, workers will go down automatically. Well, let me repeat what actually happened. We just have gotten a private dynamic proof cluster on LSF. It took us less than a minute or so, I believe even seconds. We have used a standard interactive machine as our proof server and got our dynamic proof cluster on standard worker nodes at CERN using LSF resource management system. No magic here, no administrative privileges, everything was automated and very fast, very smooth. PoD did the whole job for us. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching this, and see you next time when I will show you how to set up a dynamic proof cluster using PoD and its SSH plugin.